Rice. For more than half the world, it's not just food, it's the absolute foundation of daily life. But on millions of farms, there's this silent, relentless war being fought to protect it, a war against an unseen enemy that threatens our most essential crop. So today, we're going to investigate that threat. So what are we talking about here? If your mind immediately jumps to something like a huge drought or a massive flood, you're on the right track with the scale of the damage, but you're looking in the wrong place. The threat is much, much smaller. And honestly, it's far more insidious. Yeah, you heard that right. The biggest threat actually comes from these tiny little saboteurs, insects, that can just completely wipe out an entire harvest. This isn't one single battle. It's a constant plant-by-plant struggle. So today, we're going to open the case file on two of the most wanted culprits out there. All right, first up on our list is this really notorious pest. I mean, it's officially described as the single most destructive insect in rice cultivation. Let's meet the brown planthopper. The scientific name is Niliparvata lugens, but to farmers, it's just BPH. And trust me, its reputation is absolutely earned. When the conditions are just right, this tiny little insect can lead to total crop failure. So let's get a closer look, get a positive idea on this thing. What's really wild is just how unassuming this thing looks. I mean, it's barely 4 millimeters long. It looks totally harmless, right? But the real danger, the key to its power, isn't its size. Oh no, it's the incredible speed at which it multiplies. And this is where it just becomes a full-blown crisis. Get this, a single female can lay hundreds of eggs. And during the peak season, the whole life cycle, from egg to hatching to becoming an adult that lays more eggs, can happen in as little as 18 days. You can see how this leads to an insane population explosion. And the damage, well, it's devastating. So this is their signature move, their calling card, hopper burn. Now, this isn't some kind of disease. It's the direct result of thousands, and I mean thousands, of these tiny insects, both the adults and their young, just sucking the sap right out of the base of the rice stems. The plants are literally being drained of life. They turn yellow, then brown, and then they just collapse in these big patches, looking for all the world like someone took a blowtorch to them. Okay, but the brown planthopper isn't a solo act. There's another major player in this whole unseen war, a pest that has a totally different way of attacking. So let's open up the file on our second suspect, the rice hispa. So unlike the BPH, which is all about that external attack, the rice hispa, its scientific name is Diclodispa armigera, this thing is a master of infiltration. It's this small, armored beetle that basically wages war from inside the rice leaf itself. Yeah, its look is way more distinctive. It's a blue-black beetle, about 5 millimeters long. But the thing you'd notice right away are the short spines all over its body, kind of like a tiny suit of armor. But here's the kicker. The real damage isn't even done by the adult you see. It's done by its offspring, completely hidden from view. So what happens is the female lays her eggs inside the tip of a rice leaf. And when those creamy white larvae hatch, they don't come out. Nope. Instead, they start to mine their way right through the leaf, eating all that soft green stuff between the top and bottom layers. They're literally creating these tunnels of destruction, just weakening the plant from the inside out. So let's break this down, because this is the crucial part. We're looking at two totally different enemies here. You've got the BPH, the sapsucker, right? It attacks the plant's whole circulatory system from the base and causes that hopper burn. Then you have the rice hispa, the miner. Its larvae tunnel through the leaves while the adults scrape the surface, leaving these white streaks. We're talking different pests, different strategies, which means they need a different defense. So the big question is, how do farmers actually fight back against all this? Well, it's not just about running out and spraying chemicals everywhere. It's way more strategic. It's a multi-layered game plan that starts way before the pests even show up. Okay, so this is the first line of defense, and honestly, it's pretty brilliant. It's all about smart farming. Things like avoiding planting too densely and cutting these 30-centimeter alleys every few meters. Why? better airflow. That messes with the humid, stuffy conditions that the BPH just loves. Then there's alternating between flooding and drying the field. That also helps keep their numbers in check. And for the Hispa, sometimes it's as simple as clipping the tips of the leaves where you know the eggs are. You remove the threat before it even hatches. But look, these cultural controls, they aren't always enough. And this brings us to a really critical decision point for every single farmer. At what point is the damage just getting to be too much? When do you have to escalate? Well, that's determined by something called the economic threshold level. So for the brown plant hopper, that magic number is somewhere between 5 and 10 of them per cluster of rice plants. As soon as the population hits that density, the potential financial loss is officially bigger than the cost of doing something about it. That's the trigger. That's when you act. Okay, now hold on. Compare that to the rice Hispa. The threshold? It's just 1. A single adult beetle per cluster is enough to say, okay, time to intervene. That really shows you how destructive this pest can be, even in tiny numbers, all because of how its larvae just hollow out those leaves. And this is what happens when that threshold gets crossed. Now, this isn't just random spraying. It's a very precise, tactical response. You use specific chemical agents to hit a specific pest. You can see things like imidacloprid are used for BPH, while something like profenifos is targeted for the Hispa. It's a calculated move in this never-ending chess match. So you might be wondering, why have we gone into so much detail on just 2 tiny insects? Well, it's because this little micro battle that's happening in rice paddies all over the world, it actually tells a much bigger story about our food. Here's the key takeaway, the big idea. Farming, especially for a crop as important as rice, is not a passive thing at all. It's not just plant a seed and wait. It is a constant, strategic, vigilant effort. It demands a deep knowledge of the enemy, a whole playbook of preventative tricks, and the wisdom to know exactly when it's time to escalate the fight. It's really a testament to human ingenuity fighting against this relentless pressure from nature. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've just looked at this incredibly complex, multi-layered war that's fought over a single crop. So it makes you wonder, right? What other unseen battles are being fought every single day to secure the rest of our global pantry? What does it really take to keep the world fed?